Record. Here we go.
It's gonna be a long, long time. Touchdown brings me round again to find. I found a man that think I am at home. I'm counting down. I'm Rocket It's gonna be a long, long time. Touchdown brings me round again to find. I found a man that think I am.
Hello and welcome to the North Star Sports Media Podcast. I'm Jesse and this is Cade. We got our faces in here today. We've been working on a little bit of production, so hopefully this sounds a little better, looks a little better. Please give us feedback, on whatever else we can do. Been a pretty interesting week in sports. The NBA trade deadline was today. The Wolves made no moves, which I think was probably for the best. We don't even know what we have in the team yet. This isn't going to be a Wolves podcast, but I feel like it deserves a little bit of mention. I
thought we were going to do something with Rubio. I thought we got something. We were going to get something that was like, maybe a late first or that's a lot of, like second round or something.
I wanted Patrick Beverly.
Or Patrick
If
Beverly.
the Clippers were interested, Beverly, I think, would be perfect for the Wolves. It would have been. But unfortunately, it's not the way it worked out. We missed out on him 3 years ago. Instead, we went with Jeff Teague, and maybe something will happen this offseason. He's a free agent in about 2 years, but maybe Rosas makes a deal. And the Clippers hopefully have interest towards the offseason. Hopefully, Rajon Rondo doesn't fit the right way or whatever. So, and the other kind of disappointing thing about the trade deadline today, Evan Fournier, the shooting guard for the Magic, 2 second-round draft picks. Oh my gosh. I would have totally taken Evan Fournier would have been perfect off the bench for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
At least gives us another scoring threat besides basically just 2 players. That's all we have right now.
40% shooter from 3. Same thing with Beverly.
Yep.
They're both 40% shooters, but instead we keep Rubio, shoots 32%.
Pass is nice.
He doesn't even average 10 assists anymore. It's like 7. And it's just disappointing.
Yeah.
Just been so disappointing. I still love the Wolves. I still watch the Wolves every game I can. I just it's part of being a Timberwolves fan. I'm used to it. So, well,
I kind of just don't watch them once I have hope, and then like 5 games of watching, I realize, all right.
The hype is great every year. We get so into off-season talk. It's so fun to talk off-season basketball. NBA has perfected the off-season for fans. It keeps you engaged year-round. Unfortunately for Wolves fans, we're engaged for like 6 months, but it's not when the season is going. So it's not even anything great. Okay, well, we wanted to talk about the Twins. Opening day is about a week away. Super excited. We've been talking about opening day roster projections. We've gone on RotoWire, RotoChamp as well. We're going to do a couple over-unders, roster predictions for what we think Baldelli would do, what we would do, have some discussions on that. What do you have to open?
I guess I'll open on a little bit of a weird note. I was super high in the last podcast about Kirilloff, smooth swing. Fortunately, he's got reassigned, so he'll be playing for the Saints to start the season. It is what it is. I guess, maybe they're thinking he gets more at bats in the lower division and keeps growing. I was just hoping that I was going to see him day one, especially since we play against a righty. I was really hoping to see, at least get another lefty in that at bat. But
it's difficult because he got 3 at bats in 2020.
Yep.
And minor league season doesn't start until May. So he struggled in spring. He did get the most at bats up to the point that he was optioned. But now you're going to have him sit for another month. And maybe you call him up in 15 days, but why would you have somebody that had 35 at bats with like 2 hits and a ton of strikeouts come 15 days or even actually about 30 days later into the lineup all of a sudden? They had enough trust in him to play a playoff game, and I understand Buxton was hurt. They had a couple other injuries, but
They still gave him that chance.
yeah,
Why not put him now?
right.
Week 1.
It's it goes both ways, I guess, too, because I want to see Rooker.
Yeah.
I loved him before the injury last year, and he's had a great spring. Kyle Garlick looks great. Kind of fits the mold of this team, I think. So, what do you do?
Yeah, and it still gives us the thing about Garlic. Oh, and Kirilov, at least with Garlic too, is with Donaldson with that calf injury, even Snow getting up there in age. Hopefully he doesn't get hurt playing only DH. But let's say Donaldson's calf flares up for a couple more games.
Yeah.
Snow, he's played full seasons at third base, moves
Yeah.
over to third base. You have Cade go back to left and Garlic go to first.
I think the last 300-pound third baseman was Pablo Sandoval.
Well,
But-
he had a couple good seasons.
Before he put on the weight.
Oh,
He would show up like 3 weeks later, 20 pounds heavier. Like, how do you do that?
I don't know.
That's impressive.
That was before food dudes and delivery, so he must be just literally getting takeout every day with pizza.
Yeah, I would, I guess, if I had all millions of dollars. But that's who I am by nature. So
Panda.
that's why I'm not a professional baseball player.
I wish we would have him on our team though. We could have the panda and the turtle.
Panda and the turtle, that'd be cute.
That'd be awesome. I could see the t-shirts now.
So I'm going to kick off Roto Champs stat predictions or projections.
Yep.
Now, along with my prediction for opening day roster, they have Kepler in right field leading off. I felt the same way about that. Here's what they're predicting for home runs, RBIs, batting average, and strikeouts. 28 home runs, 77 RBIs, a 246 batting average with 106 strikeouts. Would you take the over or under on 28 home runs and 77 RBIs?
I would take the over on RBIs, but I don't know if I would take the home runs. Just because, if you're going back maybe 2-3 years ago, him against lefties,
Yeah.
He didn't seem like as a lefty batter it affected him too much.
Right.
The end of 19 and even last year, him against lefties, it didn't pair up as well as I thought most of the season or to carry it out.
Yeah.
So I would go, but I still think over on RBIs because I still think he's going to get a chance, with the bottom of our order, especially if we keep putting Buxton at 9 or wherever we keep doing with him.
Yeah.
He's going to drive me the fastest guy in the league.
Buxton at 9 would definitely increase the
Affect
boost the eyes. Yeah, definitely.
So I'd go over RBIs, under even on home runs. I think he'll end up about 25 with a decent year. Or if we see him beginning of 2019, Max Kepler, he's 30 to 33.
This is what scares me about this team. There's a few guys on this roster, and we're going to go over them shortly, that have amazing 2 to 3 week stretches. And then, Miguel Sano, for instance, after a 2-week stretch of clubbing the ball, all of a sudden Harmon Killebrew comparisons of stats start popping up everywhere. And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
he's not Harmon Killebrew.
No.
And it's the same for Kepler too. Last year started off hot. The first at bat and the second at bat of the season started with home runs.
Yep.
And then he didn't get a hit for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And 2019, first half of the year, a little bit after the All-Star break, Kepler was top 10 in home runs. Then he got the back injury, the stiff back, and all of a sudden it fell off. I think it was right around the time where he made Trevor Bauer his mom.
Yeah.
I think it was 4 straight homers. And then all of a sudden he got the injury, I guess, and fell off. And then spring of 2020 didn't go well. 2020 didn't go well, and 2020 was weird, obviously. And now this spring again, he's 35 at bats and has 2 hits. Hasn't walked once.
Yeah.
I was saying to you before the show that maybe that is because, they're telling him swing at everything, just try to make contact. Let's just work on the swing. I don't want long innings. Obviously Rocco cancels games at the 6th inning, and the MLB said after the 13th, you can't do that anymore, but you can still go up to an umpire and say, hey, I want to end the game. And the umpire's going to say, well, do I get my full check? Yeah. Okay. End the game.
I
So
do that every time.
We're not at the point anymore where guys will play 162 games.
No.
which is kind of sad. Cal Ripken is untouchable
Yeah, that's a record that'll last forever.
forever.
Which I don't understand too with, back then there's science and their medical stuff was basically wrap it, ice it.
Diets were worse.
Yeah. Diets were way worse.
Diagnoses didn't matter.
Just crazy.
And that might be why, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe
We have a
teams-
nap room for a player.
Maybe teams should stop flying.
Yeah.
Maybe that has something to do with it. Back then
Yeah.
it was bus rides and they lived forever. So,
Yeah, I
Stop
guess
flying,
sitting
guys.
in a nice plane with whatever you want to drink or eat and
It's gotta be-
room to sleep.
I've had some of Delta's airfare food.
Yeah.
Gotta be shortening their lives. Not good.
Okay. Number 2, Donaldson. I had Donaldson batting second, also third base, obviously. The real story is, can he play 130 games this year, or is it going to be 70 to 80? I really, really hope it's 130. I love Josh Donaldson. I freaking love Josh Donaldson. And I love his approach. I love his attitude. I love his swing. I hate his calf. Here's the over-unders: 27 home runs, 74 RBIs, a 245 batting average, and 131 strikeouts. Do you take the over-under on that?
Over.
Over.
Not even a question.
On
I
all
thought
of
about
them.
it.
On all
No
three,
injury.
4 of them.
The only thing
Well, strikeouts under, obviously.
Yeah.
But
the only thing I would take or worry is on my projections, I projected him to only play about 120 at most.
I'd still take that.
Not because of the fact that he's going to get injured again, but I guarantee every 4 games to start the season, he's going to have an off day.
Yeah.
Maybe not 4, it's a little extreme, but every, we'll play 2 or 3 game series. He'll probably, take the 7th game off. They're just going to be really, really careful with that calf. I mean,
Yeah.
he's had torn 3 times.
8 times in the last 3 years.
That's what it was.
On both calves.
Yeah. But it's just like, they're going to take his time. They're going to keep him healthy. Because if he can stay healthy all year, all the stat lines blows him out of the water.
Yeah.
And if we can get anything close to his MVP type series, boy, it's gonna be a dangerous. Then he'll move from probably the 2 spot to the 4 spot.
That'd be beautiful.
And then you got Cruz followed by Donaldson. Good luck.
Yes. And he is the odds-on favorite according to DraftKings to win MVP of this team. I don't remember the exact number, but I think it was 35 or 30 to 1.
I think it was 31 I saw.
Okay. I take overs also. Granted, he's healthy.
Yeah.
120 games. I'm gonna take the over on it. I feel with Josh Donaldson's competitiveness and that fire in his heart, I think he's gonna do whatever he can to stay healthy this season. I feel that good about this player for reasons being is I've seen his track record, with the Blue Jays, the Athletics, the Braves, and he's just got that it factor that really no other twin has. Like Nelson Cruz is the dad of the team. Like I honestly believe Cruz is the actual manager of this team.
Yeah.
And that's why you paid this DH this amount of money, because Cruz takes so many players under his wing and the players just respect the hell out of him.
Yeah.
So going back to Donaldson, he has the it factor of intensity, mental toughness, and I'm not afraid to get in your face. So yes, I take overs on home runs, RBIs, because I believe he'll play over 120 games this season. And the 131 strikeouts might be right, but I also feel like he will walk over 100 times this year. So whether he has the 250 batting average, he'll at least get on base about 36% of the time.
If his swing looks like it did when the ball left the yard today,
That was a fun one. Yeah.
then we're going to be in for a really good season with him.
Okay. Obviously batting third, DH, we both have it. Nelson Cruz.
Yep.
33 home runs, 90 RBIs, 268 batting average, 140 strikeouts.
I just say completely right on.
I feel the same way.
I honestly think he has potential to do more, but I just think with the age, and I don't think he's going to totally fall off. I just don't feel with him just being DH that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I also don't feel like he's going to go out there and blast 40 plus and hit 120 and whatever.
Yeah.
But he's going to create a spark in our lineup. He's going to hit some absolute gems this year when we need him in big games. But I feel like that's about spot on.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm worried. I've seen in this town a number of 40-year-old players come through that look great at 39.
Yeah.
And, it happens. It's natural. I love the guy. It's the most Minnesota thing ever to re-sign him because we all love him, while Marcell Ozuna's sitting on free agency. And it's kind of ironic that as soon as the Twins dropped that offer for Marcell Ozuna, that Cruz signed with the Twins. What that tells me is there was actually 0 teams that were actually interested in him.
Yep.
Which worries the heck out of me. It really does. But again, I think is that the actual manager of this team. So take it or leave it. I'm gonna go over on it also because I'm gonna be optimistic about this one.
I like it.
He stays in great shape. He takes his naps before games.
Great shape.
And it's Nelson Cruz.
Yeah.
Okay. Batting fourth at second base, Roto Champ and I both predicted Jorge Polanco. Over under 14 home runs, 61 RBIs, 274 batting average with 89 strikeouts.
I will say over.
Over.
But in a sense, because that's not my typical 4-spot hitter.
Yeah.
So I don't think he'll be hitting 4. He might start the season there. I wouldn't like him there.
I don't either.
So I think I would go over still, but I still think he's going to be in a different spot, and his runs scored are going to be a bigger factor. Where I project him, I'll get to where I project him to be and the reason why later, but I would say over. I like him. Him playing second base he's going to be
great at second.
Amazing
I'll
at
give you
second
that.
base. So I can't wait to see what he does and stay healthy. It's going to be a fun season for him. Weird season for him.
I feel like such a pessimist. So first half of 2019 for Jorge Polanco was almost MVP caliber, all-star season. Second half of 2019, terrible. And what do teams and players always say when they have a terrible half of the season? I was playing hurt.
I was playing hurt. Hurt and tired.
Hurt and tired on the Rocco Baldelli diet. 2020. Not the best year. His power was down. And you could tell he was playing hurt because you could tell by his swing on his follow through that he would do this spin into the ground thing. It's not like he couldn't plant weight on his foot. So he probably was playing hurt. I'm going to take the under. I'm going to take the under on batting average. I'm going to take even on home run, even on RBI, and probably, even on strikeouts. But I will say that I think his on-base percentage will be high because he has great plate discipline. He has great plate vision. But I don't think that we should expect first half 2019 Jorge Polanco. I don't think we should expect second half 2019 Jorge Polanco, nor 2020 Jorge Polanco, but maybe something in between. That's why I feel like the 14 is right in that sweet spot. So that's where I sit with it. Next batter, and this might be why Polanco is batting 4. Next batter is Miguel Sano. And before him is Nelson Cruz. Cruz hits bombs. Sano only strikes out or hits bombs. This is where me and Roto Champ have encountered our first difference as far as projected lineups. And I'll get to why it doesn't make as much sense to me with Sano batting 5th. Sano's over unders, home runs, RBIs, average strikeouts, 38 home runs, which leads this team in these projections, 95 RBIs, 228 batting average, 233 strikeouts. Take over under.
Average is
228.
I'll say under for everything.
You think under on strikeouts?
Oh, no, not on strikeouts. I think those are pretty close.
I made a bold prediction to you. I think
Yeah.
last week, Miguel Sano would have more strikeouts than batting average. People have laughed at me. Yeah, Roto Champ here has 233 strikeouts, 228 batting average.
Yeah.
So right now I'm making a call on this show that Miguel Sano will have more strikeouts than batting average. I'm taking under on all of it also. I don't think he can hit a broadside of a barn right now. I'm not making fun of the size of Miguel Sano, but what I will say is there has never been a man in the history of baseball that weighs 280 pounds that can get the bat around quick enough to catch up with a 95-mile-per-hour fastball. Prince Fielder was the closest thing to it. And Prince Fielder fell off at 29 or 30. Where's Miguel Sano right now? 28?
28.
So he's right there. And Prince Fielder had 10 times the career that Miguel Sano had leading up to this anyways. So I'm taking the under. I'm going to go as far as to say that Miguel Sano will probably hit 27 home runs, have 75 RBIs, bat 210, and have 250 strikeouts. If he makes it that long. I'm going to go over later why I believe that Trevor Larnach should play first. Kirilloff should be in left, obviously. Kepler in right and Buxton in center. But what can you do? You know, and maybe if you wanted a righty in there, obviously you can put Rooker at first, throw, you know, Kirilloff left or Larnach. I love Larnach, and go from there. Part of me doesn't see Miguel Sano finishing this season as a starter on this team or as first day playoff game. I don't see him in the opening playoff game lineup or a play-in game. I just don't see it. I think it's going to be rough.
I don't see it either. I was so optimistic the last couple of years on him.
I was too.
I kept jumping back on the wagon because he'd have a 2-week stretch where he
Yes.
just anything thrown over the heart of the plate was gone. But the more I watch him, and especially in spring training, the more I watch him, like actually look at his swing and look at everything about his game.
His swing is slow.
I don't like any of it. I also agree that he probably will not be on the playoff roster, or if he does and he has an outstanding season though, he still has potential to be,
Yeah, he does.
you know, silver slugger first base and
Right.
everything like that for you. So
What did David Ortiz weigh? Do you know? Can you look it up quick?
2 something?
2 something, obviously.
Wow.
His approach is weird too, because at the beginning of his career, his approach was beautiful. He took and saw more pitches than anyone in our whole entire lineup, and he could also hit the fastball around the belt. Now, when the fastball is around the belt, he doesn't hit it. What do you got?
His weight is 230.
That's friendly. There's no way.
I have weighed 220 before in my life, and I didn't look nearly good. He looks 50 pounds heavier than me. So
Yeah,
that's friendly.
very
That's
friendly.
very friendly.
I'm gonna say 250, 255.
That's what I was gonna say is like 260 for me, honestly. He was big.
Now, did he admit that he did steroids? I can't remember.
No,
Okay.
but
So
I don't think it was like this, like the whole cycles like a lot of people do.
Yeah.
I think he did it, I think because of rehab, he said.
Okay. The Michael Pineda water pill.
Yeah, the Michael Pineda water pill.
There's a columnist that I follow that told kind of a funny story 2 years ago in spring training. He went up to Jorge Polanco and he said, "You're looking bigger this year." And Polanco goes, No, I'm not looking bigger.
Keep me under the radar.
Yeah. Okay. So after Sano, I got Byron Buxton. So Roto Champ and I swapped these. I believe Buxton should bat 5th and Sano should bat 6th for a couple of reasons. And you explained to me why maybe the team looks at it this way, but the way I'm looking at it is I don't want to trap Buxton behind Nelson Cruz and Miguel Sano. let's say they get on first and second and Buxton clubs a double that could be a triple, or a single that could be a double.
Single that could be a triple.
Yes, right. And I don't like it. Why haven't they given Buxton the chance to bat leadoff? I understand he's had his struggles. He's had struggles with discipline. He's had struggles with hitting the slider down and away. I understand all that, but let the guy get the first two spots of the batting order for 160 games and see what happens. Give him 400 at bats there. See what happens. I think they gave him maybe a total of 25 to 30. He's the fastest guy in the league. Get him on base first. Let him run wild. Go from there. So here's the over-unders on Byron Buxton. 26 home runs, 75 RBIs, 251 batting average, 142 strikeouts. You taking over or under?
Over average.
Over average, okay.
I will say over on RBIs, under on, but I'd say even with what their projections are for home runs. That's kind of where I see him in that lineup. I wish we would have looked up, maybe look up right now what his runs are.
Yeah.
But I also would look back and see about everyone else's RBIs. If he was leadoff and I knew he was our leadoff man, I would say up 10.
Yeah.
For at least each person.
Yeah.
Especially with Cruz. I mean, Cruz is slow, but if Buxton's on first, okay.
Hit and run would be beautiful.
Or, even with Polanco being 2 outs.
When's the last time we had a team that executed a hit and run? That's my gripe with this team is the athleticism. And
probably Mauer.
Yeah.
Mauer probably did it.
And you saw Dozier who had brick feet.
Yep.
And Mauer was 2 in the batting order, right?
2 or 3. He bounced back and forth. But
there's Robbie Grossman. Yeah, that's some good speed. But they had Buxton in the 9-hole at the time.
The show.
Robbie Grossman is playing for the Detroit Tigers this year. He is starting in left or right field.
Good for them.
Good for him.
Him and Miguel Cabrera can just have some fun together.
That's about it. You want to hear kind of a sad story? Alex Avila's dad is the GM of the Detroit Tigers. Alex Avila isn't the backup catcher for the Detroit Tigers. Alex Avila doesn't have a job right now.
His dad can pay the bills.
I kind of understand in a way, but
I do. And he's got to be on a big league ball team or team.
He's a good enough fielding catcher.
Yeah,
he showed some decent promise last year. Obviously, he's kind of over the hill in his career, but I mean, I don't know.
As a backup catcher, he's just about ideal, though. I mean,
totally solid,
fielding catcher. It's not a free steal when you're throwing, or if they're going against him.
Yeah,
and he won't lose you a game.
Yeah,
he can spot pitches. That's what I look at. Backup.
It's great frame. Pitch framing. What a concept. I think every team now has a pitch frame coordinator.
Good. I mean,
they even have coordinators to check stool of MLB players. Cade and I were just talking about this. We would give anything just to get the guys in the front office coffee, just to sit in on conversations and BS about baseball. Would you be the stool samplist in the MLB if you got to sit on the meetings?
Yep, absolutely. And no, I would not wear a wire. And sell that too.
Okay.
Hey, at least there's, they have people like that. Was it the Rockies that fired everyone who did that?
Oh, really?
So now all their actual position people have to do that for them.
Really?
Shine shoes, go get coffees.
Sweet.
Yeah, sure. And then there's no, I guess they're working 3 different positions and then not getting any because they're all salary.
But you're still working on a big league ball club.
I mean, I get that, but you can't afford to pay someone.
The Rockies have really taken some bad cuts, man. That Arenado trade, that was one of the worst trades I've ever seen in my life. They not only dealt away Nolan Arenado to the Cardinals, but the Cardinals convinced the Rockies to still pay Arenado's salary.
Yeah. Here, we're gonna give you 4 prospects, but $50 million.
By the way, prospects that aren't even in the top 5.
No, I wouldn't. No, for Arenado, you couldn't even tell me. They could ask me right now, Arenado. All right, what do you want for him? If they would have been Royce Lewis, Kirilloff, Blasevich.
Sold. Take him.
You have fun.
Same with Francisco Lindor, Blake Snell, and Nolan Arenado. Those three players were steals this offseason. I got so irritated when I saw the package for Blake Snell. I got so irritated. He's cheap.
Yep.
I mean, Maeda's cheap, $3 million a year. What is for 2 more years? And then you'd have Snell, who's got maybe 5 or 6 million. So, and you could have given away a mid-level prospect like a Blaine Enlow, and who, you know, half of Twins fans have never even heard of. And an Akil Baddoo, who went to the Detroit Tigers in the Rule 5 draft. God, Blake Snell would look great in this rotation. And he's cheaper than Jay Happ.
Yeah.
They're both lefties, and he's cheaper than Jay Happ
and 12 years younger.
12 years younger and 12 years better.
I don't know if it's 12 years, but it's probably pretty close.
We like to exaggerate.
Yeah.
All right. Batting 7th. Again, I was wrong. Well, I wasn't wrong, but I was different from Rotochamp. Batting 7th here is Andrelton Simmons, who you pointed out to me gets on base really well, doesn't strike out a whole lot. I had Brent Rooker here. We'll go over Rooker in a little bit. 9 home runs, 57 RBIs, 277 batting average, only 56 strikeouts, which is the lowest on the team by over 23 strikeouts, over under.
I'll go over on home runs.
Okay.
Not by much. He's only
maybe
like
11, 12. Yeah.
But he'll go over.
Yep.
RBIs. What do you say for RBIs?
57. It seems pretty.
That's pretty. Well, it depends though, because right now in that order, he has Buxton in front of him, but he also has Sano and Cruz.
Yeah, Buxton's trapped behind Sano.
Yeah,
if
so you can't
Sano
really
gets on
get
base.
much.
Yeah.
So I'll say it right on for that.
Yeah.
Average, right on for that.
Yeah. Strikeouts, right on for that.
Oh yeah.
He only, I think his last full season, he only walked 35, 40 times, but he doesn't strike out either. So he puts the ball in play. So again, why are you going to have Miguel Sano in front of Andrelton Simmons if he puts the ball in play?
You don't.
It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't. All right. Batting 8th, my favorite player in the Minnesota Twins, according to Rotochamp, Jake Cade. 8 home runs, 31 RBIs, 246 batting average, 81 strikeouts. Now, I'm biased, I guess. My predictions doesn't have Jake Cade on the roster. However, it does make sense that he is on the roster because I think he has some scandalous photos of Rocco Baldelli and Thad Levine. But I don't understand how this guy makes the team. You got Garlett. So you don't want both your corner outfielders to be lefties. I don't like it. And if you put Rooker as the 4th outfielder, he's a klutz in the outfield. He's a great hitter, but he's not going to provide good fielding. So it kind of puts you in a pinch. You know, let's say you face a lefty, maybe you'll have some better offense, but you're going to have worse defense. And if you put Cave in against a righty, you're going to have worse offense, which if you had Rooker there, you probably have better offense still.
Yep.
And you're going to have better defense, obviously, with Cave, but you're going to have worse defense with Rooker. So I just don't see the upside to having Jake Cave. Yes, he can play center field. I understand. But he's not very good in center field. And he's not good at the plate either. He's late on everything. So I don't understand it. Again, I'll go over 8 home runs, 31 RBIs, 246 batting average, 81 strikeouts. I did put the over on it because in 74, 75 games, he did club 8 or 9 homers. He gets on these, he's another one of those players that gets on those streaks. But last year, I think every single home run he hit was hit to left field.
He's laying the fastball.
That grand slam in the first series against the White Sox was the latest swing I'd ever seen that gone for a home run. I didn't understand it.
What was his average? Or
246. I'm going under on 246. But I'll go over on the homers because I think he'll be out there as much as I don't want him to be. I think he'll be out there. So moving on from that, Ryan Jeffers, number 9. I had Ryan Jeffers, number 9. This is what I hate and despise, and it goes back to Buxton batting the 9 hole. You have a pretty good prospect with Ryan Jeffers. Makes good contact, gets on base a decent amount. I don't know why he bats 9. And there were times last year that Cade was batting 5 or 6, and you had not Buxton because he didn't play at the same time as Cade, but you had like a Rise batting 8.
Yep.
You know, so it goes back. You know, they have their philosophies, they have their analytics, and I believe they go by analytics too much because you got to have a little baseball instinct also. You know, there's obviously law of averages on everything. Let's say a guy shoots 30% from 3-pointer. That doesn't mean put up 10 3-pointers and you'll make 3-pointers that game.
No.
That doesn't mean that. So you got to have a little instinct to it. Ryan Jeffers over under 11 home runs. I took the over on this. 35 RBIs, 253 batting average. I take over on all of it. I think Garver's going to face a lot of lefties this year because Garver takes really good at bats against lefties. But I think Jeffers is going to break out this year.
How many home runs? 11. Over.
He had 11 home runs in like 50 games in AA.
Which is crazy to think about, Mitch Garver, looking at him. He's a big dude.
Mm-hmm.
Jeffers is 3 inches taller and like 20 pounds heavier.
And he is phenomenal behind the plate.
Yes. So it's like, you look at it, and that's one part that Garver always struggled with. Garver's on a big league club because his bat has carried him this far.
Yeah.
Not saying that he hasn't gotten better at pitch framing and pitch calling and everything like that, but he has struggled. Jeffers, being as big as he is an athlete.
Yeah.
And it's one of these modern catchers that we're going to start seeing with, like a Joey Bartz or Vaughn coming up, like or Karshaw or Kargas, whatever. Like they're big guys, but they can hit the ball. Or Ali Rauschman.
Yeah.
Love that guy, by the way.
I love how Jeffers doesn't get up to throw to second base. His arm is strong enough to throw from that kneeling position that gives you the advantage in pitch framing. He's got a lot of tools that I think are tools to put in the tool shed. About Garver, he is taking better at bats. He has gone back to the drawing board with his approach, as that's what's been said. His approach in 2019 was the best on the team. He had the most home runs per at bat underneath Mike Trout in 2019. Then the dead ball came last year, and there was a lot of fly balls that only made it to the warning track. Now, the power for this team has been down in the spring. However, I have heard in Fort Myers they're not Fort Myers, they're in Port Charlotte, right? In Port Charlotte, that they've had winds of 20 to 30 miles per hour for like the last 2 weeks blowing in. So there have been a lot of warning track fly balls. Again, that's optimism, right?
Donaldson seemed fine with it. He blasted that one.
And same with Larnick. So what can we do?
Not much. I don't know. I take spring training an absolute grain of salt.
I do too.
I do watch the approaches, and I think more importantly, I watched pitching performances.
Yeah.
Because that's really showing.
Yeah.
Especially in spring training. I always feel like pitchers have the advantage.
Totally.
Even though MLB is a little different, you see live pitches more. It's still different in a gaming setting.
Right.
So I always watch what the pitchers do, except they're still on top of it, still show that they have the edge. I like to see it. Whereas batting, I mean, sometimes they try different approaches, they try different things they do it, versus lefties.
Yeah.
Or
don't walk here.
Yeah.
Just put it in play.
Yeah, that also has happened. No one wants to see their top prospect in minor leagues take a 7-pitch at bat, walk, but a 4-pitch at bat walk, you'd probably be like, all right, that third pitch was pretty close.
Yes.
2-0, let's swing and hit it.
Yep. Right. So yes, spring with grain of salt. Where I'm getting most of my pessimism from is the 2020 season carrying into spring training, and the 2020 spring training also. And the second half of 2019 they were still hot, but it was kind of a struggle. And I feel like for like the last 18 to 20 months of Twins baseball has been kind of lethargic, stressful. I mean, the first half of 2019 was like the most fun I've ever had watching baseball. But these guys, they take these days off for rest, and they still get hurt.
Yeah.
So Where's the balance at? So, I really, I want this team to win, but they're projected at 88 wins on RotoChamp. I'm gonna take, I'm gonna actually go even to 89 on that, only because Eloy Jimenez got hurt today.
That sucks.
And I'm not gonna say that Eloy Jimenez is gonna be 5 wins difference for the Minnesota Twins,
No.
but he probably is 1 to 2. And I before the injury, I was around 86, 87. So Eloy Jimenez is kind of a disruptor. So that's a really, really big loss. And as a baseball fan, I'm really bummed about it because I love watching him play. So 88 wins over under. What do you got?
I actually still am at 90.
You're at 90?
I think that the way I've seen our pitching performances go, it's going to be a different rotation and a different bullpen, even though some of the bullpen hasn't looked great.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
But I still think that that's going to happen. And our bats, the one thing that's going to happen is if we do wake up, the scary part is if Cruz starts hitting, well, pretty soon that takes the pressure off the guys in front of them because they're like, well, Cruz is going to either hit a home run or do that. So they're going to start taking more. They're going to start watching pitches. They're going to do this. And it just helps out. And then if we get Josh Donaldson healthy for 120,
break out the ropes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, it's going to be, I'm going 90 and 62.
Okay. 72. Yeah.
Math.
Okay. Pitching rotation. You and I both agree 1 through 5.
Yep.
Well, kind of. You had said yesterday when we were kind of talking that you think J-Hap might get cut, but
I didn't say cut.
Well,
I just said, depending on how he handles his age in the rotation,
yeah,
I could see them saying, well, you know what, go into the long reliever.
Yeah.
Shoemaker, you're going to go 5, Dobnak 4. I still think to start the season, he will be the 4th spot.
And Dobnak 5.
Dobnak needs to be 5.
Dobnak has to be 5.
I don't know how I do know how, but I didn't know changing your wrist by this time of his life will change his slider that much. But
it has.
Whoever did deserves a pay raise.
Yes.
If it's a guy getting coffee to him, he needs to be a scout.
Peter Brand whispered in his ear.
Yeah, pretty much. It's unbelievable.
It really is. He's been unhittable. And he has the best
stash
fielding, best mustache. He has the best fielding infield he's ever had in his career. And he's got a top 5 fielding infield, even with Miguel Sano, who not only has looked bad at the plate, but has looked very clumsy at first base this spring.
Yeah, when you weigh 300 pounds, it's pretty hard to move laterally. He can pick the ball, which is going to help him. He's taller frame, so he's not a bad first baseman. But we also knew that when we got Donaldson, we knew moving Sano to first, he wasn't going to win a Gold Glove. We did know that. Like, it's no surprise on that factor of it.
Yeah, it doesn't have the same ignorance as moving him to right field did.
Oh God, that would have been atrocious. Imagine that last year. Sano in right, Jake Cade in center, and then Rosario in left.
I got a lot of hate for this over the offseason, but I'm gonna spew it to you right now. I personally thought Kevin Kiermaier from Miguel Sano made a lot of sense. They have even contracts. Kiermaier can't stay healthy a full season. Neither can Buxton. They each play 80. Their fielding is the exact same. Kevin Kiermaier is a monster in center field, and he can steal bases. I thought, and he's a lefty. I thought having, rotating Kiermaier, Buxton, or throwing Kiermaier in left would have given us a great edge in fielding. And it would have also given us that center fielder that can still make the impact Buxton does, that Kepler can't. Neither can Cade. And we could have sold the Rays on the fact that they like big hitters in their at Tropicana field.
They do.
They turned CJ Cron into an all-star. Well, he wasn't an all-star, but he hit 40 bombs, I think. Carlos Pena was great with Tampa Bay. Who was the other first baseman? Anyways, the Rays have always kind of turned those guys into 40 home run guys that still couldn't hit the ball. I thought that Kiermaier I thought it made a lot of sense.
I wouldn't have done it.
You wouldn't have done it as a Rays fan or as a Twins fan?
Twins fan.
Really?
Because of the fact that Okay, yeah, you're right. He is an amazing fielder. There's no mistake about
And he
that.
hits lefties better than righties.
He does. But are you planning on benching Buxton?
No,
Are you planning on benching Kepler for him?
no,
Okay, last year, yeah, okay, you benching Rosario for him.
no. But
So-
I was saying this offseason when Rosario left.
Right, this offseason, I honestly thought we should have 8 million, but whatever.
What we have,
But I also thought that this is
Well-
why I don't understand why I would have. I guess I would have. No, I would have. Because I honestly think that Jake Cave, Larnick, Garlic, and Kirilov. Throw a Cave. But we have
That's what
3
I'm saying.
prospects as left fielders.
I get
One
that.
of the 3 is going to come up, and that's what we're going to go on with. And Sano has the potential to hit. I mean, he
You
has
could have
potential.
replaced Jake Cave.
Well, you can replace
We
him
wouldn't be
with
talking about
Washington.
Jake Cave batting 8th in this lineup. When's the last time Buxton played more than 100 games? Ever? Each time Buxton gets hurt, each time we struggle.
Yeah.
Because we don't have an answer in center field.
No.
This year when he gets hurt again, what's our answer in center field? Cave.
Keon Brooks. I hope so.
Your favorite player. So
He is. Or Cave spot.
I know.
I'm comparing those 2 together.
I get
not
it.
them 2.
I get it. But imagine if Kiermaier was in the debate with Cave.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, So anyways, moving forward, I just kind of wanted to throw that at you to hear another opinion, but I thought it made a lot of sense. Because you could have moved Kirilov or Larnick to first, and you automatically have a better fielding first baseman. And probably better hitter. So going to the bullpen, I believe
2017 is the only year Byron Buxton
he played 140.
140. He had 117 hits, 14 doubles, 16 home runs.
I heard that the Twins aren't letting Buxton text this season. You know why?
Why?
If he swipes too hard, it might break his fingers.
All right. It's true. Could happen. Miguel Sano is wearing shoes all the time, so he doesn't step on something sharp or what? And so you can't. So what? Buxton can't text or eat steak. Or
You
what?
want to make sure Royce Lewis doesn't slip on a piece of ice either.
All right. Yeah.
In Texas.
In Texas.
Now that he has addressed that story. I don't know if you heard this or not, but he was training 2 weeks prior and he heard something pop with the ACL. I guess what someone was explaining about an ACL injury is it only hurts if you're trying to do lateral explosive movements, but when you're walking every day, it feels okay. It's not bothering you. But the one thing that confuses me is when a doctor tests for a torn ACL, you can move your kneecap left or right without any resistance. I think every professional athlete kind of has an idea where their body is at.
Yeah.
How didn't you know that? Maybe it's and why did it take Royce Lewis attending spring training for them to find out about it? You waited 3 weeks to go to spring training to get diagnosed on it instead of, I'm sure the Twins would pay for a doctor to look at his knee if he called up Thad Levine and said, I felt a little tweak in my knee. Can I go get checked out?
They would.
Especially Baldelli. Baldelli would have said, go to the doctor and,
The stats say
and
that you're
take a
probably
week
right.
off until you get diagnosed.
Yeah.
So it confuses me. Going to the bullpen now. So you got Alcala, obviously.
Yep.
Alcala is my dark horse for best bullpen pitcher this year
For the league?
for the Twins.
Oh. Yes, for the Twins. Okay.
I'm worried about Duffy. Duffy continues to get smacked around. His velocity is not over 89 miles per hour this spring. Once hasn't been over 89. He's trying a new pitch. It's big curve. It's slow and it gets hit. So hopefully he won't bring that into the regular season. I don't feel good about that. I love Tyler Duffy. He was the guy I wanted to see last year when we were in a position of men on base. I don't feel good about it. What do you got for ERA there? 13.5 in 5 innings. 2.81 whip.
5.1 with a 13.5. He went from looking like Tyler Duffy to Duffy from Scary Movie real quick.
What's that career? Oh, that's spring training career.
Yeah.
So his career in the spring is 6.35. So that might be something.
Last
you know,
year.
maybe he just doesn't takes him a while to get up to 94.
I don't know. Last year, 188.
Last year was great. He was
22.
lights out, and he was lights out in 2019 also, right? Yeah, 2020
1.8
or 2.5.
2.5.
Yeah. So obviously he's going to start the season in the bullpen, but it's something to monitor.
I don't think he'll get as many. I mean, last year when he got games 22 games, he won't get that this year. Well, no, he won't. He'll get 17
We're in 60 games.
in 60 games. So he'll get more. I mean, 50. Okay, so he'll go from 2019, 58 games.
Mm-hmm.
He'll get 50, maybe.
Maybe.
Unless he goes back to last year's stats, then he'll go up to like 60. But I don't think I know what you're talking about in his spring training. I've watched some pitches and they just don't look the same.
Yeah.
The same thing. Like they get it. Like there's pitchers who don't throw fast. Romo for us last year.
Yes.
Was what his fastest pitch was maybe 91.
88.
Yeah.
He scared the crap out of me every time he was pitching.
But that slider was unhittable. So there's
Somehow.
guys who, yes, exactly. But
then he got in a fight with every single division opponent.
Good. I like it. I like that from a closer. If I came in with two, like no one out, guy on second and third, and struck three guys out, I am literally walking to the dugout, looking at the other bench, chirping.
What's the deal with Rocco Baldelli never naming a closer?
Analytics say it's better to stay anonymous.
Analytics say it's better to put your best pitcher out in the seventh inning with two guys on base. I understand. But I guess, and this is why I'm not an MLB manager, right? I just feel everyone, when they know their role and they know what to expect and how to mentally prepare for a situation, I just, I don't understand it.
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, Taylor Rogers and Axe Colomé this year they're not gonna know who's gonna close that game.
No.
They're not gonna know who's gonna go out in the ninth inning. So, and I feel like that messes with guys' heads, especially pitchers. They're fragile. You know better than anyone. You were a pitcher in high school.
Yep. Getting pulled or not having a role or thinking you having a role, and then you see someone else warming up, or you hear that phone call and you start getting up and you're like, okay.
Yeah.
So it's
best athlete in the field, but fragile mentality.
Pitchers. They seriously are.
Yeah.
They're one of the worst, where it's, you tell them their stuff is off today and it's supposed to be a diss, but they get hurt by it.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that kind of sucks, but I was looking to see.
Ansel Robles has also looked terrible this spring.
He gave up another one today in one inning.
I think his ERA last year was at least over 7. I heard on the radio 10, but I don't remember seeing 10.
Oof.
Yeah, they gave him a little bit of money, but
since we're talking about it, Taylor Rogers gave up 2 in 1 inning today, and Alcala came in for the save. So now there's a third guy in the mix with saves.
I'm saying Alcala is going to be our guy. When are we going to get to the point when we call up Josh Winder, who throws 97, 98, and Yohan Duran, who throws, that's the guy we got for Ryan Presley from the Astros, or was it from the Cardinal, or not the Cardinal, the Diamondbacks for Escobar? It was one of the two.
Thought it was the first one. But.
He throws hard, and I always go back to the mold of the 2015 Kansas City Royals. Every guy in their bullpen threw 100 miles an hour, and it all felt like hopeless as a team that had to get 1 or 2 runs. You rolled out like Kelvin Herrera, and who was that other? There was another setup man. Then your Donnie Ventura, I think it was, who died a couple of years ago. He threw hard too. I just go back to those bullpens that just throw fire.
Yep.
As the late contenders in the big game. I don't see Romo rolling out in the 8th inning against the New York Yankees in the ALCS in game one because we wouldn't win a single game against the Yankees anyway.
Yep.
I would feel so much better with a bruised arm Gratterall going out in the 8th inning against the New York Yankees.
Yeah.
Now, I don't regret sending
trade.
Gratterall
No.
a relief pitcher for Maeda. I don't regret that at all.
Nope.
I'm just saying that mold.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Yeah. Well, one thing I'm still waiting to see is I thought Colomb, and I'm still hoping he turns into that guy, is that guy who we kind of used as a Romo or even a Duffy last year where, all right, 6th, 7th inning,
Deuce a ground ball double play.
we need something to come in. We have 2 guys on first and second,
Yeah.
1 out.
Yeah.
Our starter's done, Jose looked good for 6, gave up 1 hit. Now I got shelled for 3.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, we need you to come in and close the door. Don't walk anyone. Let's go at him. Make him hit.
And
the
he doesn't
ball.
walk guys.
No.
What's weird about him is he throws hard,
Yep.
but his strikeout percentages are extremely low. But he gets the outs. I mean, last year his ERA was under 1, I think it was, in 60 games. But
Yeah.
he was unhittable. Let's see who else is on that.
8-1.
So I don't think Field Bar will last a month, especially with Lewis Thorpe. He got the game card spring training bingo, best shape of his life comment about him this spring, and deservedly so. He is touching 94, 95, which was when he was at the peak of his value with the Minnesota Twins. Last year was god awful for him. But if he can touch that velocity, he can then get away with throwing the ball over the plate a little bit more, because when you're throwing at 90, your margin of error is so much smaller than when it is when you're throwing 95, 96.
Yeah.
So now the Twins got lucky and got granted that 4th option with Thorpe, so they can throw him, in St. Paul for a bit, see how Thielbar does, because they gave him a little bit of money. Let's give him a chance. I mean, that's kind of what, April, May baseball is all about, is let's give these guys like the Shoemakers that we gave him $3 million. Let's just see what he has and go from there. I think Martin Perez is the perfect example of that. 2 years ago now, I think that was. God, I was so high on him after 2 months.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
Nothing.
That's who we faced today, was Martin Perez against the Red Sox.
Well, we won, so it's good.
Yeah. Who else we got for the bullpen? Taylor Rogers, obviously, who I expect to have a good season.
I do too. He gave up 2 today, but I don't really care, to be honest. I think he's gonna, even if he is our closer or even our 8 guy, I'm fine with that. Our setup, he's a great setup. I think he's just fine with that.
Yeah.
Stay Shack.
I don't feel great about Stashak. I do in a way, because he does make a lot of bats miss.
Yeah.
He's in his kind of 3rd year now, where he's got a little more experience. He's pitched in the playoffs twice now.
Yeah.
So I think he'll be solid, like the 4 ERA range, probably. But he's not the guy I want to roll out in the 8th inning.
No. But he will eat up some innings this year.
He will.
He at least will give us a chance. Like if, let's say, someone comes out there and their starter's pulled in the 4th,
Yeah.
or even 5th. Well, okay, maybe our long guy, he could eat 2 or 3.
Yeah, he could.
And
I agree.
he won't blow the game, but from 7-0 to 14-0. He'll keep it. They might score 1, but
Yeah,
he'll at least eat some innings, give you guys a chance to come back.
yeah, I agree.
So I think he deserves to be on the roster. He'll be just a mid reliever.
Yep.
Nothing crazy about him.
100% agree. You have anything else on the Twins?
I had a couple projections.
What do you got?
Old
Oh,
projections.
okay.
Not really.
Let's hear them.
Buxton plays 120. He hits 280 and finally leads off for this after the All-Star game.
That's bold.
I really think obviously if he stays healthy, that's the biggest thing about this. But him hitting 280, I don't think is out of the question. His bat has gotten better.
100%.
And if he does hit, that 280, 290, he's leading off.
He's
already
entering the prime of his life right now.
Yep.
27, I think he is, or 28. I mean, that's when you physically are in the best shape of your life.
Yep.
Now, for me, it was high school, but I don't, I don't work out every day. So, but men, women, whatever it is, you enter the peak of your prime at 27, 28. So I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, and him leading off is something I want the entire time.
Yeah.
He needs to lead off. Other one I have, Luis Rise will play 70% of the games.
I agree.
Just
That's someone we
because-
didn't have on the projections actually as a rise.
True. So I just think one, we talked about Donaldson early this season. He's not going to play as much. It's going to move it a little bit around. They project him to play left field. So they may throw him in there just to see how he does.
He might
You know
be out
what?
there opening day
Yeah,
in
yeah.
left field.
I'll watch it. I mean, he's an athlete. He'll get it done.
I mean,
Will he's great? Will he win hose someone out running to third? Probably not.
no,
Will he make a diving catch? No,
No.
maybe, but probably not.
probably not.
But he's an athlete. He deserves to be on the roster. But
100%.
I have him after the All-Star game, or with him and Buxton. If they can pair off together, I have Buxton 1, Luis Ariz 2.
That's great.
Buxton, if he can get on base and then the pitcher has to throw 10 to 12 pitches just to get a ball put in play or a put out,
Yeah.
then you go against Cruz.
Not to
Have
mention,
fun.
you're paranoid about Buxton at first. You're throwing to a rise who's going to work you. And then you got Cruz.
Yep.
And then Donaldson.
You see,
That's the team's best lineup, in my opinion.
yep.
And it's only the first four. You can do whatever the heck you want after that.
Yep.
But I love that.
Yeah.
Personally, I love that. And when Rise needs a day off, throw Polanco in number 2.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Polanco, I think honestly, we were talking about earlier, and I should have said this. I think Kepler on most days against a lefty probably won't lead off. It will be Polanco.
He'll be Garber.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But I think Polanco, that 2 spot,
Yes.
is ideal for him.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Agreed.
He's a switch hitter.
Yes.
Holds good at bats.
Yeah.
And he's not the fastest, but he's at least quick enough where if you hit a gap shot and he's on first, he might advance to third.
Yes.
He might get there. But
Might.
he might. But it's better than someone having a Donaldson.
Yes.
Donaldson, you
Who
hit
has to
one.
think about?
You hit one over right center, but it's not in the gap necessarily. He ain't going to third.
No.
Not. A
I don't want him
chance.
to.
No. Yeah,
Just,
it's also true.
just relax.
So that's why I think
You
it should
know?
go. I mean, Kepler, well, obviously, if it's a lefty, then Garber. Don't see that. Why? But Polanco,
That's the way it's been.
Cruz, Donaldson.
Yeah.
And then after that, we can do a little toying around. If it's a lefty, I probably would still throw Sano at 5. And then I would go on the back end of it and throwing Buxton maybe 8, 9, just to get that 9 first leadoff back up.
This is where I would really want the team to really honor analytics is, let's say you are facing a lefty and you're going to put Sano at 5. If that lefty is a really, really good high ball pitcher, I don't want Sano batting 5th.
No.
That's not what I want.
Yeah.
I want Sano to play against guys that are only effective in the bottom of the strike zone. And what's weird about this day and age where home runs have become so much more that now they're teaching guys to throw up in the zone again, where for so many years it was keep the ball down. That's where Sano hits it, is down. He can't keep up around the waist. So,
Yeah.
putting analytics, if you're going to claim that you're an analytics team, which I really believe they are,
Yeah.
let's look at that lefty, if he's going to throw high or throw low on a common basis, or if he can consistently stay high in the zone, So I agree with that, only if he's facing a pitcher that is a low ball pitcher.
Correct. Yep. I also predict, I don't know why, but I have this weird feeling from the not lack of moves, I guess, because we got Simmons and we got the guys we need. But I predict a trade.
What do you got?
I don't know. That's the thing about it. I was trying to think about it. I was looking I even took out Emily the show and I was just going through what we have, but I could see something, especially since we have a Garlic and a Kirilov who can play first.
Yeah.
I think this, honestly, if Sano gets off to a decent pace, it could be
Sell high.
gone.
Sell high.
When he's gone, pair him off with maybe a Nick Gordon, someone who's probably never going to play for us, especially if we have Royce.
Yep.
So a Nick Gordon, even a Shoemaker or a Hap, or hopefully not Dominic, but
Teams
one
like
of those
prospects, so
Yeah.
and low.
Sure. Yep. There we go. And pair it with something good. Either get maybe our bullpen struggling, we go get a nice closer.
Yeah.
or something like that. But I think this is the year. I think we're looking at the age, with Cruz and Donaldson, some of that. And it's, I hate to say it, but it's kind of like the Vikings defense. They need to make it happen. And I think for some reason, I just had this weird record that we're going to make a big trade, which we're not, known for, but I think it's this year.
I was saying to you, I don't believe Snow finishes the season as our starter.
No.
There's too much of a logjam behind him right now of guys that right now are actually better than him.
Yeah.
And as a GM, you got to know your window to compete at the highest level. And let's say 2 years later from now you got Larnick, now you got Kirilloff, who are both great.
Well, Kirilloff would add a huge role that we're also missing besides Kepler.
Yes.
Kepler and Rosario had that lefty
Yes.
power.
Yep.
And I don't like both lefties hitting or fueling wise, but lefties, I mean, that's all we had last year for power. And this year, who do we got?
Cruz, Donaldson, Snow.
But lefties?
For lefties, we got Kepler, who hasn't looked good for the last year and a half.
Or at least Kirilloff. I know I'm all up on Kirilloff's train. I get that. At least he has pop and he's a lefty. So that gives us again that another added to it. We don't need another righty.
No,
we don't need another righty.
You're right.
Or I say almost,
so Kiermaier's making more and more sense to you.
No.
He is though.
No. I still wouldn't take him. I'm not gonna trade a guy who's gonna maybe bat 210.
He bet
223.
No, he bet 280 last year.
No.
He did.
Yeah.
I swear.
I still wouldn't.
I promise. He doesn't strike out either.
I still wouldn't take him.
Isn't it funny? We've gone 2 years ago. Strikeouts don't matter. Now that we've watched all these strikeouts,
we're
strikeouts gotta matter. Now analytics, a lot of them say it doesn't matter, but
it does.
I think it does. It's kind of deflating to strike out with the bases loaded. I mean, obviously a Joe Mauer double play ball was very deflating along with Trevor Plouffe, but a strikeout is very deflating also.
Yeah.
In my opinion. What else do you have for finishing up on Twins here?
I just have their final records, 90 wins is what my expected is. If the lineup hits like we've hit in spring training, we don't even win 70 games.
No.
But I actually think they'll win the division. And I believe this is our year we'll win one game in the playoffs. And to make this season a win, even if we don't win the World Series, if we win one playoff series,
that's the goal this year.
Everything will wipe away what happens over the season.
Yep.
We'll lose and no one's mad.
I'm not mad.
If we win one playoff series.
That's the goal of this show, talking about what we want. We're not even going to talk about World Series because we don't deserve to. We need to win a playoff game.
Yes. Series.
We need to.
I want a series.
I just want a game.
Well, yeah, that's the first start.
I can't do it.
All
we
right,
have the two worst records of sports history.
Yeah.
Minnesota Timberwolves have the worst winning percentage record of all time. And keep in mind, they passed a football team that plays 16 games a season.
Yep.
This team plays 82 games a year.
182.
No, I'm talking about the Wolves.
Oh, yeah.
And they have the worst winning percentage of all time. And then you have the Minnesota Twins who have lost 19 straight playoff games. I just want to win a game. I don't care about anything else. I just want to win a game. That's all I care about.
Agree.
I want to win a series, sure, but let's just win a game and go from there.
All right, I have a side thing for you.
Sure.
Just to you.
Okay.
If Miguel Sano bats 250, 38 bombs, and 100 RBIs, you have to buy a Sano jersey.
Okay, I'll do that.
And you have to I'll figure something out for you.
I'll go down to Target Field, knock on the GM's window, and say, sell high. Sell high, Thad. Sell high.
Yeah, that ain't happening. If he does that, we're stuck with him for his career. He's probably getting into the Ring of Honor. His numbers on the left field.
Speaking of that really controversial topic, is Joe Mauer a Hall of Fame player?
It's so hard to say.
It really is. He's had one of the most difficult careers to analyze.
It's so hard because we always are so stuck on his last 2 or 3 seasons. But you look at, he was our team.
He was legendary for 2 years.
Our team, he was the MVP of the league. He was this and that. I would
But when you look at the career numbers,
They're not outstanding.
they're not. Scott Rowland isn't in the Hall of Fame. Did Scott Rowland have a better career than Joe Mauer?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So, I mean, guys don't even get into the Hall of Fame anymore with the way this voting has gone. But obviously, it's also hard to even retire his number. It's like, why are you retiring number 7?
You know why? Minnesota guy.
Minnesota guy.
Minnesota
It's the
drafted,
Adam
played for
Thielen effect. Adam Thielen's gonna go into the Ring of Honor. We're all gonna talk about how great Adam Thielen was, and don't get me wrong, he's made amazing catches. But Minnesotans, we get so stuck on the story and the love, and we just forget about winning. We haven't won anything since 1991 and 1987, and before that, we never won anything at all except for the Minneapolis Lakers, who left us.
So how about this? Who's your Minnesota team that breaks it?
I hate this question. The Lynx.
Okay.
So other than the Lynx, I would say, and not counting the soccer team.
No, they're gonna somehow lose a 2-goal lead with like a minute left.
Well, that happened this
I
year.
know. I was watching and couldn't believe it.
I could. I looked over at my wife and I started laughing, and she goes,
Blair
What?
Walsh was
She
somewhere
goes-
out there.
she goes, "What are you laughing at?" And I said, "They blew it."
Yep.
Welcome to Minnesota. Timberwolves. Cue it. You may shake your head at it, but we weren't going to talk about much Timberwolves. But let me just go over why. Let me go over why I believe that. The Vikings are stuck on being a 10-win team.
Yep.
They don't want to lose 13 games in a season. They're never going to let it happen.
Correct.
And
They're not the ones I pick.
And I'm saying, okay, I don't want the team to go 3-13 because I also don't want it to turn into a Cleveland Browns situation, but they're stuck on 10 wins.
Yeah.
They just are. And they're always going to be focused on being great or good, but not great.
Not great. All right.
The Minnesota Twins can't win a playoff game. I'm not going to talk about World Series until they win a playoff game.
Nope. They're not mine.
The Minnesota Wild have 2 fantastic stars. They've got 2 damn good goalies. I have nightmares about John Sebastian Jaguar. And I can't pick them. I can't pick them. This is why I feel so good about the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I will go further into saying this if we get our top 3 pick. Let's say it is Cade Cunningham or Jalen Suggs. Listen to this lineup. D'Lo, Cunningham, Suggs, whoever it is. Anthony Edwards, Karl Anthony Towns, Jaden McDaniels, who was considered untouchable at this trade deadline. I just really feel with 2 or 3 more pieces that actually fit with this Wolves roster, LeBron's 3 or 4 years away from finally kind of fading. Same with Kevin Durant. There's going to be a window. There's going to be a window in about 4 or 5 years. And I feel good about it. And let's say that Karl Anthony Towns gets really pissed this offseason because he just can't take another season of losing. Sell high, because I'm not stuck on him. I don't think any fans are at this point. His mentality is weak. Sell high, acquire some good assets. Don't do the James Harden trade.
No.
And build your team. I still trust Gerson Rosas, and I love Chris Finch. Chris Finch won at every single level, getting it to this point, and he's maximized some damn good players. That's why I believe the Minnesota Timberwolves. It sounds preposterous, but we win for whatever reason. Our state wins at basketball.
Yeah,
when it's not the Mets.
Yeah. I'm saying Wild.
Wow, you think why is that?
It seems like Minnesota just has finally gotten back to the fact that this is the state of hockey. Kaprizov and the whole team right now, they're back to being lightning fast, making plays, not sitting like so much the whole like last couple of years we saw it up to Suter, back over. Oh,
God,
Dobson
Suter.
stop. Oh, we're waiting for Parisi to battle in front of the net, which he's very good at.
Was
We just sit there, keep waiting. Now it seems like this team is just flying.
have an identity.
They're just making plays. They're, you know what?
Hold each other accountable.
We have a 2-on-1 or a 2-on-2 even. let's try it.
Yeah.
Kaprizov, just do a little wrap around. Oh, okay, you scored again. Great. So, and it's weird to say how crazy one person makes a team different, but my goodness, has he added just a different electric?
He really has. And it's really going to depend on Bill Guerin this offseason to build this team, because there's going to be probably about 9 guys that aren't going to be back next year.
Yep.
They have taken total rentals
Yep.
and kind of pieced this together and, to see what they have. What worries me is they have done nothing to help Kevin Fiala.
Yeah.
Kevin Fiala is stuck on a line with guys that can't help him thrive. He's not a playmaker. He's a great shooter, and he can put the puck in the net.
Yep.
But for whatever reason, they're not putting Fiala in a position to succeed. And that worries me. Along with that, hockey's a weird game.
Yeah.
So it's the only sport that I believe that a 7 seed can make the cup.
Yep.
But I look at Colorado, who has guys that are young and are generational talents. They got Makar, McKinnon, who are arguably top 5 players that are going to be there for the next 5 years. I don't feel great about the window, and Kaprizov is going to get about 8 or 9 mil this year. Parise's still going to be under contract. Suter's still going to be under contract. Fiala is also due for a contract this year. It's going to tighten up our cap room. So it worries me. They got a good prospect system, but that's why I didn't pick Minnesota.
I'm saying it this year.
You think it's going to be this year? Write that down.
Oh, you can say it right now. We're
Okay.
recording it.
All right.
I don't know. I mean, if it doesn't happen, I'll be really disappointed. But this team is just, they looked poor the other night, but other than that, they're a good team.
I'm hyped on the Timberwolves. I can't help it. I love Anthony Edwards. I can't help
being
it.
hyped about a 10-win team in basketball.
What I say,
Anthony Edwards.
we are the
is
biggest
fun.
Timberwolves fans in the off season
Yeah,
because there's so much hype.
Anthony Edwards is fun to watch.
Now, I will
won't
say
lie.
that the hype videos this year were corny as is all heck. And the song, stop playing the song Dominate, okay? Stop playing the song Dominate, because we don't. It's either bad luck or I still remember my favorite. The year that Anthony Bennett, Zach LaVine, Andrew Wiggins came on the team. And the intro played for the first half of the season only. It was Anthony Bennett crossing his arms and going, "You're not going to want to miss this." And I think they won like 18 games.
Not gonna learn this.
Yeah.
What are we missing?
Yeah, what are we missing? Zach LaVine at point guard.
Oh God,
So
I love it.
I love him too. He's one of my favorite players. Chicago made a lot of good moves today and yesterday.
They're
All right.
they're a good foundation.
Well, moving on. We said we were going to do our 1.0 mock draft today. We're going to do a 2.0 next week because things are ever changing and, trades can happen. There's still free agents out there. A lot of things can happen. So let's get to it, huh?
So we'll do every other.
Yeah.
I'll do it first.
Okay.
So obviously it's Jacksonville Jaguars. First on the clock. We're just gonna quit playing games. Trevor Lawrence.
100%.
Yep, he's the best guy. He's the best player in the draft, especially in the NFL where quarterbacks everything.
I'm so
He-
excited to watch Trevor Lawrence play.
He's up there. So Jets pick 2. You gotta pick. It's a tough one.
Before I pick, what do we want to throw a bet down in our football fantasy league that somebody takes Trevor Lawrence in the first 2 rounds this year?
No one will.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay. Well, I'll
Who's
go
he-
for it.
Who's he throwing to? Laviska Shenault.
DJ Chark.
But that whole I just don't think it'll happen.
Well, Jakes have the 25th pick, and you know who's probably going to be on the board in the 25th pick?
A lot of people.
Rashad
Rondale
Bateman,
Moore
Rondale Moore,
and more. Or
Bateman Moore. I mean, Bateman or Moore with DJ Chark would be beautiful.
Yep.
So I kind of want to buck the trend of Zach Wilson going number 2, because part of me believes that Sam Darnold has been stuck with Adam Gase, a terrible offensive line, wide receivers that can't play. Now they signed Corey Davis, who's
Yep.
I made the comparison to a Greg Jennings without Brett Favre. 60, 70 catches, 900 yards, not gonna burn you, but not gonna hurt you either.
I compare him to Eric Decker.
That's a good one.
Not a good one.
No,
Terrible one.
Terrible
but as
one.
a 2, if you compare someone around
Decent,
him,
yeah.
he's gonna catch 10 to 11 because they have to focus. But he's a great 2.
Denzel Mims
I like him.
I
just haven't
I
seen
liked
it
him
yet.
at Baylor. I haven't seen it yet. I said to you earlier today, and you're gonna shake your head at me, Kyle Pitts number 2 because he's generational. But I gotta take Sewell number 2. I'm gonna take Sewell number 2. Mekhi Becton paired up with Sewell would be just beautiful.
That'd be fun to watch.
It really would. Mile Kiper projected Sewell dropping to Vikings at 9, with the Vikings making a trade with the Broncos, which would make sense because George Payton's in the Broncos front office right now, and him and Spielman are. I think they're close. I guess I don't know.
Yep.
But yeah. So I'm gonna take Sewell number 2.
So Dolphins at 3. They need offensive linemen, but they're not going to get it where they're at. I mean, the next ones you'll got is like a Slater or a Darisaw.
This, in my opinion, is where a trade makes the most sense.
I could see them trading.
We're not doing trades.
No.
But the way we're doing. We want to clarify quick. The way we're doing this mock draft is by the guys that we would want for these teams, who we would draft, not who we think is going to go, but who we would draft. And then at the end of the year, we're going to go back to this and just kind of see, how we match up, I guess. But yeah, so for number 3, who you take?
So just looking at what's left, I mean, it's Wilson and Field is still on the board.
Yeah.
I don't think they're have Tua. They can't go up, high last year and then redraft a quarterback.
Yes.
I don't think it's possible.
I agree.
But because they drafted him and there's so much hype, at first I was thinking a Parsons would make sense because their defense isn't good.
Defense was decent.
They were okay, but a Parsons would add it. Like,
oh my God, yeah, he ran a 4.39 today.
He's great, but I think they're going to go after Jamar Chase.
That's a good pick.
They're going to go get that offensive humming, create the fun aspect of it.
Devontae Parker back next year?
I thought so.
He'd be a great number 2. Yeah. He's not a number 1.
No,
but he'd be awesome too. Okay.
So pick 4, Falcons.
Justin Fields. Now, again, we're going over Zach Wilson here. Justin Fields ran 4.4, right?
Yep.
So obviously, Zach Wilson has great tools. He throws the ball really nice downfield. But Justin Fields, in my opinion, has more upside, more tools. He got clubbed against Alabama. But this is what Alabama did against Justin Fields. They played cover 1 the whole entire game. Yep. They basically matched up Patrick Surtain with their best wide receiver and blitzed the entire game. Yep. And there's really no one else on Ohio State's offense that is a first rounder or even first year NFL caliber player right now, other than I think their one offensive lineman who might go in the second round, might go first. But I got to go with Fields here because I personally think Fields is going to be overall best value and down the road probably better quarterback than Zach Wilson.
I was going to say Lawrence. You're crazy.
No,
I agree. I think Justin Fields, and especially in that play style for Atlanta.
Yeah.
Zach Wilson's a little bit mobile.
Yeah.
A little bit more of like a slide protection, roll outside the pocket.
Is their new coach Arthur Blank?
I believe so.
Who was the OC for the Titans?
Yep. So
okay. Yeah.
5 for the Bengals. Again, they kind of in a tough position because I know they want, receivers needed. They want that. But I watched a highlight the other day of rookies getting hit, and it basically should have been renamed Joe Burrow getting destroyed. The entire video was him actually just getting pummeled.
That poor guy.
Yeah.
Awesome player.
I can see them trading, but for this Spence, what they should get. I know Devontae Smith is good, but I think Jalen Waddle fits that offense.
It does. And the other thing too is they did sign Riley Reif.
Yep.
They have Jonah Williams, who was a first round pick. I haven't watched as much Bengals football as I had used to, but so I don't know how good Jonah Williams has been. I don't know if it's more of an interior issue for them, but I can see why you would take, a wide receiver instead of a lineman there. Not to mention, there's no linemen that are worth.
No.
Once Sewell's gone, there's no one worth that high of a pick. All right, next is your favorite team, the Philadelphia Eagles.
I'll say my 2 cents.
Yeah, go
As an
ahead.
Eagles fan.
Yes, go ahead.
I know Kyle Pitts is unreal athlete. And he's a generational player. But so is Micah Parsons. And our linebackers.
The Eagles haven't had a good linebacker for years.
We have had no one. So I could see him either way, and even Devontae Smith, to be honest. As long as it's one of those 3 players.
Jamar Chase still on the board?
He's gone. Oh, if Jamar Chase on the board, please go to Jamar
Well,
Chase.
he's on the board for us, right?
No.
You took Waddle.
Yeah, but I took Dolphins Jamar Chase.
That's right. Sorry, my bad. Okay. Did the Eagles sign another quarterback to compete with
Flacco.
Ugh. That's right. I gave you crap about that.
Yeah. Move on, please.
Well, crap. This is what I would do though, right?
Yep, it is.
I'm taking Zach Wilson.
Jesus. The Eagles draft another QB in the first round.
They're going to burn down the town. You included. But
what I think was happening.
If Zach Wilson's on the board, though,
we're going Pitts.
You probably are. You most likely are. Or Chase if he's there.
Yeah. But when I heard Parsons isn't in persuasion at all. I don't understand why.
Yeah. I feel the same way about the Vikings. There are a couple of mocks where Micah Parsons fell past the Vikings, and obviously they have other holes to fill, but you got to take Micah Parsons. Yeah. Oh my God. He's Patrick Willis. I'm telling you, he's Patrick Willis. Okay, you're up.
Lions. Finally, Micah Parsons off the board. That's a zero question for that terrible Lions defense. That's going to give them an edge, a linebacker who can rush the passer a little bit, but also is unstoppable. I like that pick for them.
That was a good pick.
8 is the Carolina Panthers.
Yep. Okay, Panthers. Trey Lance.
That's exactly what I would have picked.
Yep.
They're looking QB or QB.
QB or QB. Yeah.
Broncos at 9. See, this is where it gets tough because they drafted Jerry Jeudy last year. So
yes.
Do they pair up the Alabama duo with a Devontae Smith?
Yeah.
Terrifying. Pitts, but they already have Noah Fant.
Yep.
They do run a lot.
And they have Jake Butt.
Yep. Okay. I think, as boring of a pick this is, I think they're gonna go Devontae Smith.
I don't think that's boring.
Well, it isn't what they really need, I guess, is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
They could do a slate. I could see a Slater going there.
Sure.
They need that offensive line solidified.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they're going to just go on the whole Atlanta Falcons board and just say, we're just going to shoot the ball out, even though their quarterback is, their quarterback.
That's the way I'd feel with the Vikes. There's potential that Smith, Waddle, and or Chase, one of the 3 drop to 14. I get the offensive line need, but you have a chance to potentially pair Waddle or Smith, probably not Chase, with what the Vikings have.
Yep.
That'd be so beautiful. Oh my God. That'd be 1998. Now, not to the extreme of Randy Moss, but as good as.
Yep.
10
is Dallas Cowboys.
Patrick Surtain.
Oh, you're going straight corner. I like that pick.
Cowboys need defense. They lost Jones last year. Their pass defense was atrocious.
Yeah.
They still have a Woozy, who is probably a really good number 2 corner, but Patrick Surtain II had a phenomenal pro day. And the other underrated thing about this is what I think a lot of teams underrated about Antoine Winfield Jr. last year. Dad calls him up day after the game, watches film, and breaks down film with him. Now, I don't know the Surtain relationship aspect of it, but I'm going on the fact that Patrick Surtain and his dad watched film together.
Yep.
And Patrick Surtain was so good for the Dolphins.
Number 11 is the Giants. I think, just looking on the board, you still have Pitts. There's a Quiddy Pie, Rashawn Slater.
Then Pitts is Evan Ingram.
Yeah, they have Evan Ingram. So.
They signed Kenny Galladay.
Yeah, they're going to go help that defense.
And they signed Rudolph too, who's going to be hurt. But
Yep. Actually, I'm gonna say they're actually gonna go Rashawn Slater,
I think,
a tackle.
yeah,
As much as their defensive line isn't great, and they need a little help, their O line with Saquon coming back, they got Galladay, they got Evan Ingram.
yeah,
They're gonna solidify that offense and be competitive.
yeah,
They might get blown out, but they're gonna be shooting too.
I agree.
Number 12, San Francisco 49ers.
I'm gonna take Farley, the corner.
Secondary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're hurting for a corner. Sherman's gone. If Sherman comes back, he's another year older.
He's getting younger.
So they need to solidify their secondary, and I think John Lynch prioritizes secondary for obvious reasons. And their front seven is disgusting in a good way. So why not bolster the defense a little bit more and take a corner that has a decent ceiling, decently high ceiling?
Yeah, I think he's pretty good.
Yeah.
13 Chargers, Kyle Pitts, easy.
Oh my God, with Justin Herbert.
Yep.
Oh,
They're gonna see that. They just lose Hunter Henry too, because of course the Patriots are just paying everybody.
oof.
They're gonna be a young duo together for years.
Oh
That's
my gosh.
it might not be the most needed position for them,
You gotta
but
do
I think
it.
that organization's gonna look and go, let's do it.
You got to do it.
Yep. So finally, number 14,
Ugh.
the Vikes.
Devontae Smith's off the board, Chase is off the board, Wild's off the board, huh?
Oh yeah, top receivers off the board.
Now, of course, I take extra time on this one just because I watch and follow them the closest, right? I don't like Rousseau. How do you say it, Rousseau?
Gregory Rousseau.
I don't like it. He's projected to go there on a lot of mocks, but I don't like it.
Ceiling wise, he might be the best D lineman in the draft.
Ceiling wise,
Ceiling wise,
yeah.
Because he could seriously be one of the top in a while.
And I can't trade this pick for Orlando Brown and go to the 27th.
No, you can't trade that.
That's what I would do, but I can't do that in this. I will take Jalen Phillips, the end rusher.
Jalen Phillips.
UCLA.
You picking guys from Madden 2004? Where is this guy?
It's 28th on the big board.
Oh, Jalen Phillips.
Mhm.
Oh, the other
Or
guy.
Miami,
Yep.
yeah.
I would have. I think if that circumstance comes up, I think they'll end up drafting. I hate if they draft Kwity Paye for Michigan. I haven't seen the stats.
He's more inside, isn't he?
No, he's edge,
Okay.
but I haven't seen the stats to be honest from him. I think they'll draft Christian Darrisaw though, tackle. They might.
I have Darrisaw going 27 to the Ravens.
I also could see that.
That's why a trade for Orlando Brown makes so much sense.
Yeah.
But the Ravens gave Orlando Brown permission to go negotiate a trade for them. Orlando Brown is, I guess, talking to 5 or 6 teams. I don't know what the 5 or 6 teams are, but how appealing is this left tackle position to somebody that might have 5 or 6 options? I don't know.
Yeah.
So I feel like we need to trade back, acquire a little bit more picks, because there's really no good value for the Vikings here. There isn't. And I'm not drafting a safety this high. Mulrig might even be on the board around 20 to 30. That might be another reason trade.
I don't think people see this year the safety talent. Morgan is pretty good, but I don't.
He's the best safety in the draft.
That's yes,
but he's like the only one. The next best one is his partner on the other side, and I can't remember his name for gosh sakes. No, go ahead.
On this clock, it's Patriots. They will draft This is like a Bill Belichick D lineman, Quiddy Pie.
Oh yeah.
That is perfect for him.
Pro Football Focus has Paye as a defensive tackle / defensive end. That's why I asked that.
Well,
I don't know his size off the top of my head.
I think he's a little beefier guy, and he
Okay.
he's more of a bull rush,
Okay.
power rush.
That's perfect for Belichick.
Yep. So that's why.
Yep.
So Cardinals at 16.
You know, I'm regretting my Vikings pick. You know who the other guy that I would love on the Vikings is that Georgia edge rusher that ran that 4.3.
No.
Can't go back now, but that's looking back. I was under pressure.
Aziz
I felt like Kirk Cousins.
Olari or whatever.
I just flailed it out there in the first 6 games of the season. And
Good job.
Deion Jones picked it off. All right, 16.
Cardinals.
Okay. They lost Patrick Peterson. They just signed a corner. Kyler Murray has DeAndre Hopkins. Fitzgerald is still a question mark. Who is their other wide receiver? AJ Green. Yes, they're not going wide receiver.
Nope.
Their offensive line was kind of crummy. I'm going to say Elijah Vera Tucker. USC.
I could see that, but I think their defensive interior, they might go that Christian Barmore from Alabama.
That's also a good one. Yeah. 17 Raiders.
Okay, we got to overthink this one because it's exactly what they're going to do.
They're going to take the fastest wide receiver on the board. Ruggs, Hayward Bay.
No,
Freaking Hayward Bay.
though Christian Darrisaw.
Yeah, makes sense. They just traded Gabe Jackson.
Yep. They need that running game going. And back to the Dolphins again at 18.
Well, this isn't fair. You drafted at 3. Who would you take at 3 with them again?
Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase.
Yep.
Okay. Well, because they didn't get their offensive lineman, I'm going to take Leatherwood. I think it's Alex Leatherwood.
Yeah. Tackle. I could see him doing that. I could also see them going for Jeremiah Owusa, that guy.
Yeah.
He's pretty good. Washington football team.
Oway is the 4.3 edge rusher, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Washington. Oof.
WFT, which I always, when I look at it, I always think it says WTF.
I could actually see a Minnesota boy going here.
It's saying Raduns.
Rashad Bateman.
Oh, Bateman. Okay. That'd be pretty with McLaurin. I think after seeing Mac Jones run, I think Mac Jones is a potential landing spot.
They could go there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And that'd be kind of potentially with the mocks that I seen, if Mac Jones is there, I mean, if the mocks are as accurate as they say they are, that would almost be him falling in their lap.
Yeah.
But personally, I wouldn't take Mac Jones in the first round, but after watching him run, I feel a little better about him.
Yeah.
But again, he was in his underwear. So everyone runs better when they don't have 20 pounds of pads on them.
All right. Division rival, Chicago Bears. D lineman. Boy, you look at all these players and they got better value than the Vikes do. Jesus. They got some players.
Barnmore's still on the board, huh?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Horn, the corner.
You think I can see
They cut Fuller. They signed someone for cheap. I can't remember who it was off the top of my head, but I'm gonna take Horn, the corner.
way into the depths. All right. 21, the Colts.
Should we call Sean?
Yeah. Offensive line is very intact.
Oh yeah.
Defensive line is very intact.
Oh yeah. I love Buckner.
Oh,
yeah.
I could see a Rondale Moore.
Ooh.
Oh, or a Jason Owe. Oh God, they're No, I see them going Rondell Moore.
Do they play a 3-4 or a 4-3? Do you know off the top of your head?
I thought it was 3-4.
Gosh, if they played a 4-3, I would all day put Buckner with Barnmore. Oh my gosh. Okay. 22 Titans.
Titans.
Do they have a good defensive line? I don't know what's top of my head. I originally had Tyson Campbell from Georgia going to the Titans, but I'm going to take Barnmore.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
Jets at 23, huh?
This is funny. Walter Football had the Jets taking Najee Harris at 23. I shook my head so hard.
No, with it, I see them getting Jason Owa,
The
edge rusher, Penn State.
that'd be nice for them.
Yeah, they need something help. And the team that doesn't make any decisions, the Steelers. Hey, they got back Juju since last time we talked.
They did.
And he just turned down some really good deals.
They
So,
need
good for him.
They need a slot corner really badly.
They need yeah.
They're the best, according to Pro Football Focus, the best tackling corner in this draft has the last name Robinson. He's a corner, slot corner. He's, I think, 6'2", 6'3", plays like a safety, kind of has the Minka Fitzpatrick mold.
Yep.
I'm gonna go with Robinson. He's 55 on PFS big board.
Scroll down. I'm supposed to do it. Aaron Robinson. All right. Jaguars at 25.
They're weak in the middle right now defensively.
Yeah, I personally really like Nick Bolton.
Okay.
That's what I would draft. Nick Bolton for him.
There you go.
Browns at 26. Yeah, the team that's so close to being A1.
I laugh because I just can't believe it.
Like, you can't be looking at their team and it's so good.
I mean, you collect first round picks for 20 years, you know, and their defense is pretty dang good. It's tough because I believe that they need a corner to pair up with Denzel Ward, but I'm going to take the safety Mulrig.
You got to remember they
From
have
TCU.
safety from LSU got hurt last year.
Who is that?
The rookie, Grant Delpit.
I didn't even know about that.
Yep, he went on their team.
I'm-
Towards ACL preseason.
Really?
Yep.
Take another run at safety, take Mulrig.
All right. Just making sure. Ravens at 27. Talk about another team that's so close to being the best team in the league.
Yeah.
And it sucks for them because they need a receiver so bad.
They do.
And it's like you have Elijah Moore and you might wait, but I wouldn't take him here. We always talk about having your offense be elite, but their defense could be elite.
And their offense is already top 10
top 10.
without a great wide receiver.
Great, yeah.
You've already taken Bateman, right?
I think they're a team at this point that could actually go and grab that Racial.
Pair up with Ngakoue, who can't stop the run.
Yeah, wow.
But
Yeah.
other than that, that'd be great pass rush for
Yep.
sure.
And if you get not his ceiling, but you get his middle line,
Yeah.
he still looks good on that team.
Yes, I agree. You can cover up some of the
The
warts.
Yep.
Yeah.
28 Saints.
My favorite team. Not. You already took Darrisaw, right?
Yep.
Not that I would, because Armstead and Ramczyk are good. Let's see. So the New Orleans Saints.
They need defensive help, linebacker and corners.
Yes.
Go grab. Speaking of duos, get Asante Samuel Jr.
That's a good idea. I think the corner they would take would be Eric Stokes. He ran a 4.2 5.40 at Pro Day. He allowed a 53 completion percentage of passes thrown his way. he'd look really good across from Marshawn Lattimore.
Georgia boy.
Yeah.
Packers. So Elijah Moore is on the board. They've been going for years to get help.
But they wouldn't.
So of course they're gonna go Jeremiah, the linebacker.
They will actually, because they don't have any good linebackers.
No, they just have, well, the Smiths are technically linebackers.
Technically, but Kirksey left, who wasn't that great anyway,
No.
who received the most praise I've ever seen. And Kamal Martin is a practice squad player. You heard it here first.
Rude.
Sorry. I'm not even a practice squad player, if that makes whoever feel better.
All right.
I'm not even allowed to hold his jock strap.
Bills at 30.
Bills. God, that's an interesting team. What's their top needs?
B, defensive line.
Defensive line, huh? Well, I think. And who's on the board?
Edge rusher
Oh,
from Georgia,
yeah.
Aziz.
Aziz Ojulari.
Yep.
Let's do that.
Chiefs at 31. They just lost their tackle.
That
And
pick
guard.
makes a lot of sense. Tevin Jenkins.
Tevin Jenkins.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Tevin Jenkins. And the last pick.
Sante Samuel Jr.
That's a great pick.
They're all in on Antoine Winfield Jr., Sante Samuel Jr. They're going to have dinner, the four of them together watching film. It's going to be lights out. Brady for 8. 8 rings for Brady.
Gross. So terrible to say, but they're so right.
OJ Howard's going to be healthy next year.
Oh, God.
Rob Gronkowski, Godwin. Oh my gosh. It's just crazy. So awesome. Was that the last pick?
That's the last pick.
Awesome. Well, what we'll do is we'll post pictures of our mock draft on our post. We're going to have another one next week, 2.0. Kind of, think about what we've done and where our picks have gone. Maybe some players have been traded, whatever, but we'll go from there. Next Thursday, I think we're going to be 2-3 days away from season opener.
It's next week, Thursday.
It is Thursday.
April 1st.
So we'll watch the game and then we'll hop on the podcast, huh?
Yep.
We'll talk about that a little bit. We'll go over where our projections were with our opening day roster and where the team is at. And maybe we'll talk a little bit of Wolves basketball in Minnesota Wild. I think the Minnesota Wild deserve to have a segment with us. They've played really well this year, and we'll go over some Minnesota Wild work. So
I like it.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Please hit subscribe on our YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. We have our website where we post our articles daily. We really appreciate the support, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good one.